Narooma, a small town about 5 hours south of Sydney. However, do not be fooled by its size, because it's home to a great amount of marine life and definitely a good place for an adventure. Our main objective of this trip is to see wild fur seals in its natural habitat, and on top of that, swim with them. This will be my first time doing so, and saying that I'm excited would be an understatement.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Bernard and welcome to the channel. If you're planning to come to Narooma to find seals, you guys are watching the right video. This is going to be a guide to where and how you can spot seals in Narooma. So for this trip, we have a couple of friends joining us. There is Dorcas, who is running away from the camera because I think she's been embarrassed on this channel before. And by now, she should be a familiar face. And someone new on the channel, we have Ariel. Yeah, so she's Paula's free diving friend. So this trip, I'm kind of surrounded by free divers. This trip, I'm gonna be the one that's embarrassed, okay? Dorcas, this trip, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna look like an idiot. So yeah, let's see how this trip goes.
To kickstart the trip, we grabbed lunch, and one of my favorite meals whenever we are in a coastal town is to get good old fish and chips. After lunch, we checked into our accommodations at Surf Beach Holiday Park. It's a small place with basic facilities, but for its price, we can't complain.
Yeah, I mean it's worth the price. It's super cheap. Like I said, I think it's $170 for 2 nights for 4 of us. Yeah.
After settling in, we went out to explore the town.
There are no plans for today, so it's free and easy. And currently, we're at Bar Rock Lookout because the goal or the hope is to spot some seals from Narooma. So this is the popular Australia rock.
Is this Australia rock?
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
I mean, most people want to take photos with it. The only thing I can think of is flying my FPV drone through this. So there's a sign here that says that seals are resting. So hopefully, walking ahead, we will see some. Oh yes, there are seals. There are seals right there. Wait, there are seals.
Where? Where?
No? No? Right there. Look, there are seals right there. Okay, let's change over to the telephoto lens.
A good lie.
The one I swim is small, this is.
Not bad. So the trip here to Australia Rock is a fruitful one. I think sightings of seals here are almost guaranteed. So if you want to check out seals from the land without having to go to Montague Island, definitely come here to Australia Rock. But then again, all the seals here are essentially resting. You wouldn't see much action. So hopefully tomorrow when we go to Montague Island, the swimming with them would be very exciting.
If I don't see them tomorrow, I'm still happy. Yay! I've already swam with them once.
So just situated a couple of minutes away from our accommodation is this beautiful beach. Am I referring to this beautiful beach? Well, if I check out, wow, look over it. Let me zoom in. Wow.
We hung out by the beach for a while more before calling it a day. The next morning, since our tour wasn't till 10 AM, I went back to the same beach to try to catch the sunrise. Unfortunately, the sun was hiding behind the clouds, so I took out my FPV drone for some shots. It is now time for the long-awaited moment, heading to Montague Island to dive with the sails. It was
My 5mm suit is buoyant.
So they gave us, what's this called? Life vests, life jackets. I'm surprised that in Australia they care about safety.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
I'm-
actually quite safe.
I'm genuinely surprised.
It was a slightly long and uncomfortable boat ride to get to the dive site, and finally, it was time to get into the water. Diving with the sails was a breathtaking experience. The curiosity and playfulness is why they have the reputation of being the dogs of the sea. Although I'm experienced in filming underwater on scuba, filming while freediving was definitely a challenge, so I apologize for the mediocre footage. I also wasn't as good of a diver as compared to the rest, so I can only watch with envy as I film the others swimming with the sails. Although the highlight of this dive is the sails, the waters are filled with plenty of other marine life, so you'll never get bored. You'll probably get seasick first.
Okay, so we just finished our dive and I must say it was an amazing experience. So there is also the option to scuba dive, but personally, I think snorkeling is more than enough to see the sails because the sails do come pretty close to you and the scuba diving is going to cost much more. So yeah, if you are price conscious, definitely go for the snorkeling.
It's good. It was tiring. We saw a lot of seals. We had great weather and the visibility was about 10 meters. But it was so crowded. There were so many divers. But it was so good.
Oh yeah, one thing is the weather today was amazing. We couldn't have asked for better weather today. We were really lucky on that. So our last stop for the day is Glasshouse Rocks. You can actually see the rocks from the beach near our accommodation, the one that I was at this morning. But if you come to the beach here, you are of course closer to the rocks. But the thing about getting here is that the directions to this place is actually quite terrible. If you put Glasshouse Rocks on the GPS, it actually leads you to another road that you can't drive to. In reality, you have to drive to the car park of the cemetery, and from there you have to walk into this very unmarked path and go down this unmarked slope. So basically, this place is very unmarked. Hopefully the B-road I've shown you helps a little bit, but yeah.
Anyways, here's an FPV drone shot of this beach, and you can decide for yourself if this beach is nicer than the one I was at earlier this morning, and if it's worth the trip here.
Do you guys remember on the first day how I said I wanted to fly my FPV drone through Australia Rock? Well, guess what? I'm back here on the last morning just to do that. When I came here so early, I honestly thought that I'll be the only person around, but apparently there are quite a few other people, so I decided not to fly my FPV drone for too long. Just as I was about to leave, I noticed something in the water and I immediately launched my drone to try to get some shots. It was a pod of dolphins swimming in the bay. I've seen dolphins before, but I've never actually captured them on camera, so I got really excited. I tried my best to get some shots, but the water wasn't exactly the clearest and it was hard to predict their movements. In the end, I failed to get any great shots, and this was probably my best one. But at least I got some video documentation, because if you didn't, did it really happen? So that was a pretty amazing way to top off this morning. I actually saw dolphins swimming into the bay, and according to the locals, this is something that rarely happens. And you know what? I got it on drone footage. Okay, so our last stop for the trip is Mill Bay Boardwalk. So according to what I read on the internet, you could potentially spot stingrays from the boardwalk. And yeah, so we've already seen dolphins, we've seen whales, we've seen seals. So the way our luck is going, we'll probably see some stingrays. Unfortunately, we didn't see any stingrays, but it was still a very fruitful trip overall. And the boardwalk was a nice place for a stroll to wrap up the trip. We did not manage to spot any stingrays, but I'm still very grateful for the overall luck we had during this trip. Like, the weather was amazing. We couldn't have asked for better. What do you think of this trip?
It was great. I had some fun with my free diving friends. We saw some seals.
And her husband.
They were so cute. Just seals were the highlight of the trip. Yay!
So yeah, Narooma is pretty small. I think you only need 2 days, 1 night to explore this place. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did. That's pretty much it for today. It's a wrap!